Welcome to chapter 14, troubleshooting your mental game. Does anyone need help with this? Does anyone need help troubleshooting their mental game? I do. Count me in, coach. This one's huge for me. Okay, a lot of this stuff I do live when I trade, and man, what a difference. Okay, at this stage in the journey, Jared shifts gears from theory to refinement. You've built awareness, you've tracked emotions, you've mapped your A game, you've started rewiring. Now it's time for you to become your own mental coach and troubleshoot your game in real time. I'm telling you guys, this is where it happens. This is what I do. Okay. And what's awesome is in some of the live trading floors that I'm involved in is I can coach other people, or I can at least see from a coach's perspective on what's. I'm like, ooh, that person's overwhelmingly experiencing FOMO right now. Man, I could fix them. No, I'm just kidding. Of course not. They can only fix themselves. But you can start to see it in other people. But the main reason to do this, and the most profitable reason to do this, is you can see it in yourself. Okay. So this chapter teaches you how to identify the type of mental issue you're facing. If we got time, I got a list of them for me. Pick the right solution based on your progress. Avoid common traps that stall growth, like assuming you're further along than you are. Maybe someone who doesn't ever want to be wrong thinks they're a better trader than they truly are. Huh. I wonder. I think I saw that in someone else. All right, maybe it was me. All right, avoid common traps. All right, spot whether the problem is emotional, strategic, or even a performance ceiling issue. For me, I had a mental block that wasn't allowing me to be overly profitable because I wasn't feeling worthy. It's kind of weird. Anyway, something I'm dealing with, working through it. Let's see, it's a diagnostic tool for when things aren't clicking or even when you know better. Ring a bell? Think of this as mental maintenance, checking the engine before it breaks down. All right, key takeaways to this. All right, mental problems fall into three categories: learning or knowledge gaps, you don't understand something; execution gaps, you know what to do, but you can't do it consistently; or emotional interference. I've never experienced this one, never. You can do it, but emotions disrupt it. Okay, that's what I've dealt with the most. Um, mistakes are valuable data mistakes are valuable data points, not just failures. Okay, this is huge. Okay, a lot of us don't want to look at our failures in the face. We don't. We want to look past them, right? We don't want to consider them because they it wounds our egos, man. Come on, let's be real. There's a reason why there's not a plethora of live traders out there, because all your mistakes would be live right there for everybody to look at. You know how hard that is to deal with? All right. Overconfidence or rushing improvement can cause you to skip steps you still need. This guy right here. Okay. Solving the wrong problem leads to wasted time and more frustration. Being honest about where you are in the learning process helps you grow faster. So a lot of people I work with, one of the things I see is there are learning gap knowledge, right? But usually it's not what you think it is. Usually it's the knowledge gap is like they have no emotional intelligence when it comes to trading specifically, right? They just blame strategy, indicator. And I'm like, no, man, like you're telling me you put your stop loss here, and I'm asking you why, and there's no logical reason for it. It's because you were scared or nervous or whatever, right? Greedy, I don't know, right? Whatever it is. And I'm like, that's the learning knowledge. I very rarely see someone who doesn't actually know something about the market. You know, most of us have spent so much time on YouTube and golden strategy hunting that we almost know too much. And we have to delete some of that knowledge because not all of it's good. Okay. I've kind of dealt with all of these, of course, 100%. Execution gaps, emotional interference, just being able to put things into categories and learn about my this. All right, this is just good stuff. Let's keep going. Action steps. Classify the issue. When you make a mistake, ask, was it a lack of knowledge? Did I didn't know the setup well enough? Was it a lack of execution? I hesitated, overtraded, or missed it? Or is the emotional or is it the emotional interference? I felt fear, tilt, FOMO, etc. Okay. This is big. This is big because I think a lot of people, because I could probably teach most people in like, half an hour to an hour, like what they need to know about the market, to start being successful. Okay. But they won't have the execution down and they won't have the emotional control down. And those are the two biggest, in my opinion. The knowledge can be taught very quickly, but it's these other ones, or the application of that knowledge. So let's match the solution with the problem. Knowledge issue: study more, backtest, journal setups. Bam, there you go. Execution issue: create a pre-trade checklist, simplify decision making. Simplify. Okay, I love ICT, right? I love smart money concepts, but dang, is overly complicated to the point where it just makes my head want to explode. Right? Simplify. Simplify. Sorry, I don't mean to focus on that. Emotional issue: use your mental hand history, journal, and then train corrections. This is the one that's not fun, and neither is this one. This is the work that most people love doing this. People love this. Maybe this one right here. Even this one a little bit. People love this stuff right here. Okay? What people don't want to do is this. I mean, I'll admit it. I don't want to do it, but I do because I've seen the effects of it. You know? Okay. Don't use the wrong tool for the job. Don't skip the basic work. Okay. Reinvest early tools when needed. Revisit earlier tools when needed. Mapping your ABC game, writing your mental hand history, tracking patterns daily, journaling post trade reflections. See, a lot of this stuff, like a lot of people picture like afterwards, like I'm spending hours at my desk doing all this stuff and journaling and data and writing out my history. No, that's not actually what it is. A lot of the stuff I do live, like while I'm trading, that's when I'm doing the work. And yes, I do work after, and I do a lot of work prior. When you talk about studying and educating and learning more, this is the kind of stuff I'm studying, learning, and educating myself on, right? Because it's not the ICT knowledge that I need anymore. It is this stuff. Okay. So even advanced traders cycle back to the basics. All right. When I did my study of like smart money, right? Like big money, to have these trading teams, this was something that they do. They bring in people like Jared Tendler and Tom Hogard to talk to their traders, and they bring those professional day traders back to the basics. Okay. So building a troubleshooting journal. Here you go. Start a log of the problems you identify and how you resolved them. This right here, okay, it's almost like back testing to see the results, right? Because you can look back and be like, wow, I can't believe I had issues here, 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 and here, but I can see what I used to fix it, and then you can see the results as far as an improvement because you see it come up less and less. It gives you confidence in the system, and confidence in this game is everything. Right? Most people aren't confident because it's hard to be confident when you win half the time and you deal with emotions, right? That's why gambling is what it is with casinos. Okay, a lot of people, you have to understand this stuff really does hit your brain like a casino, but that doesn't mean you can't have a structured edge that helps you be profitable. Okay, but this becomes your performance personal performance guidebook over time. I've thought about sharing mine. Mine's pretty hit and miss. A lot of like crazy notes going all over the place. But even in that, it has just been a game changer, to see the results, to see the changes, and it helps you believe in it like you believe in your strategy. This becomes a part of your strategy. It's like almost when people ask me, like, what's your strategy? What's your edge? And I'm like, I journal my emotions and I talk about how I feel. And it's like that's what I want to say. Of course, I don't say that. I say I trade fair value gaps and ICT and blah 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 blah, time based liquidity. I go over my strategy, but this is my strategy. To me, this makes I could almost 50-50 trading randomly with this stuff correct and be profitable. I don't really know if I can do that. Obviously, I don't do that. But I'm just saying I feel like this has more weight on my outcome than my actual strategy. Of course, an edge is like you have to have. It's got to be important. I think there are some people that do some, rando trading out there. I don't recommend. I think it's all sensationalism. I tend to try and stay out of that space. I try to stay connected to people who are grounded, who are doing this, and not just who are doing this, who are wildly successful. Because there are a few people that I know are legit, but they are like legit gamblers, like real gamblers, and who are just out of control risk, and they've hit it big a few times, and they've in a sense gotten lucky. I try to stick more towards like I want to be a professional, where it's consistent, and I'm good with losing, I'm good with winning, because I know in the long run it pays off. All right. So, all right, let's talk about some encouragement for this. Okay. Every top performer, from athletes to investors, has days off. It's important. Go touch grass. But what separates them is their ability to diagnose, adapt, and correct. Okay. So, yes, time away is important, but also taking the time to do like a performance guidebook, right? Learning to take that book and diagnose your own issue, and then learning to adapt and correct is going to be priceless. Okay. You are now equipped to do that with your mental game. You don't need to be perfect. You never will be. You need to be honest, curious, and committed to growth. All right. And so as you are looking back at your own behavior, your own thoughts, and you're looking at your performance guidebook and your mental hand history, and you start to put these things together, you really start to see your own patterns. And a lot of times, like I said, with me, the issue of being wrong, right, and just having to be right pointed to most of my actual trading problems, right? Just fixing that one thing put me into profitability. Doesn't mean I don't struggle with other stuff, but it was that one thing that was just like my sniper, my anti-sniper was just like killing me, you know? And so mistakes are feedback, slumps are signals, and plateaus are proof you've outgrown your old process. And you are becoming the trader who can solve problems in real time without getting wrecked emotionally. That has been one of the biggest breakthroughs I've had, like within the past year, is being able to self-diagnose live, right, in the market, and being able to connect with myself emotionally and figure out exactly what's going on and why and what I can do with it, what I can do about it. Pretty amazing. Okay. So that's elite. And that's exactly where this work is taking you. If you want to become like an elite trader, and you want to do what the 90% don't, I think this is what it takes. I mean, like, I'm there, I'm profitable, so I know I've entered that upper percentage. I'm working to enter the upper percentage, the upper half of that lower percent that's actually profitable, to become wildly profitable and to become one of the elites. That's what I'm striving for. That's the identity I'm telling myself. That's what I'm journaling for. That's what I'm training for, is that right there. Okay. So I can just better provide all the way around. All right. I hope this has been encouraging for you. Please like, subscribe, and all that wonderful, wonderful stuff. I need those 6 views I'm going to get in that 1-2 likes where I text my friend to say, hey, bro, go like my video. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. And I really hope this next week of trading for you is going to be a game changer.